Circle in after that. So, hello everyone. Hello to the Google Hangout. Welcome to the Duke Disability Alliance meeting. Happy Super Bowl Sunday. Thank you guys for coming on despite that. But yeah, let's just get started. So, let's just go around, do introductions, like name, life updates, thoughts on this weather. Hey, how are you? Good.
Did you send out the link?
Oh yeah, right. That's Sunday. So yeah, I guess I'll go. My name is Deepthi. It's the last week of tenting, so that's exciting. Yeah, and it's supposed to hit the 70s this week, so I'm excited.
I'm Caroline. I'm the first year. I'm just really excited to be here. This is something I'm really passionately excited about, but kind of want to take a step back from my first semester here. But I'm really excited to be back in surrounded by people who want something.
Hi, my name is Sarah. I'm also a freshman. I'm mostly excited that tenting is almost done. I think I learned that I joined the ASL club and I started the ASL now.
Yeah. Are you going to the event tomorrow? Today we're just running around doing names, introductions, life updates, thoughts on this weather.
So hi, I'm Jay. I'm the former president of DBA. Life updates, nothing much. Saw a movie yesterday, but
Ooh, which one?
that's about it. Black Klansman.
Oh, is it so good?
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah.
Okay, I'm Michaela. I'm also a freshman. I'm excited about the Super Bowl tonight because I'm getting free food, so that's a plus. Yeah. This is gonna make me sound like a bad person, but I'm Patriots. Just because Tom Brady played for Michigan and Michigan is my team.
Wait, are you from Michigan?
Originally, yeah.
Which part?
Detroit.
So this part.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's a good. That's actually a good episode. You turn it around and you got Florida.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh whoa.
You do this.
True.
Are you from Michigan and California?
No,
Okay.
I'm from Maryland, so
What's up?
Chesapeake Bay. And I have family in Michigan. So, and I remember when I went to go tour University of Michigan, and everybody asked where are you from? They would just be like, here. It's like, I don't know what that means. I'm not from this state. So that was funny.
I'm Simon. I'm excited about this weather because I'm finally recovering from a cough and well, it's good for recovery. So you shall benefit. What else is this?
Life updates.
Well, I just got better.
That's good.
That took up my whole week last week. So
I also take a long week this week.
oh.
Hopefully. I'm Kevin. I'm a third year. I study poli-sci. I went and saw the movie with Jay yesterday, and it was awesome. I have family in Michigan and California, not in Oklahoma, but I'm from Florida. St. Petersburg, Tampa area?
I used to live in Fort Lauderdale.
Okay.
Oh, I like that.
I'm sorry that you live there.
What's wrong with Fort Lauderdale?
It's fake Miami.
I love Miami. I want to live there when I grow up. I moved to Arizona and I
Oh wow, we got a jam-packed house today.
That is.
Oh, I forgot, guys. There's chocolate banana bread, brownies, and peanut butter cups.
Nice.
Just come to you guys. Full Sunday, and I know maybe you want to be here, maybe you don't.
Well, I do.
There's brownies. Are we still doing it?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm Trent, everybody. This is my 4th AA meeting, and sorry, what were the questions?
Like thoughts on this weather, life updates.
Thoughts on this weather. I'm hoping it heals me because I am sick as a dog and dying. Life updates. I saw Metallica on Monday, so that was awesome.
That's so up your alley.
Yeah. And that's about it.
Are they old now? I just wondering.
They're like 55.
Oh my god.
Yeah. But they still sound the exact same. That's amazing.
Maddie?
How are you?
Wait a second. How are you?
This weather is pretty great. Got my shorts out. It's pretty good. Anything else?
Life updates, how are you doing? Anything you're excited about? Anything that's bothering you?
This
Want to
semester's
rant
going
about
pretty well.
something? How do you like the brownie?
Delicious.
God,
Yeah, really.
Honestly,
everyone should take
Sign, throw it to me after.
Everyone should get one.
And these are.
And there's like ones with nuts on the bottom.
Yeah. There's
Oh yeah, if anybody's allergic to nuts, just be careful. Alright, so let's get started, with accessible maps with Manish. Alright, Kevin, are you gonna be updated or is Manish gonna be here?
Manish is probably gonna be here around 45 after, so
Okay.
we should maybe just delay that.
Okay, sure. Do you wanna talk about, your meeting with Lake Victim then?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, so I think that we basically discussed all the issues in the People's State of the University Manifesto. Right, Kevin?
Yeah.
Does everybody
So-
know what that is?
Also, who Lee Fickling is? She should. Do you want to go ahead and explain it? You have a
Yeah,
relationship
so,
with her.
so she is the director of the Disability Management System. So they oversee the Student Disability Access Office, which does student accommodations, and they also do visitor accommodations, basically anything pertaining to disability. So she's basically the head person over there. So we met with her and we met with Tony Galliani, who does ADA facilities for Duke. And so, yeah, so the first thing we discussed was creating a community space for students with disabilities by spring 2020. And I think they were receptive to that idea, and they said that they would be reaching out to some higher ups in the administration, such as Kyle Kavanaugh, who is basically her boss, Lee's boss. I think that one thing they did want is they want more data on like who would use the center and what we want from it. So they said that they would be able to send out a survey to all of the students that are registered with the office if we can provide a survey to them. So that is the next thing that I think Kevin and I need to work on.
Yeah, my hope was to have done it for this meeting, but I couldn't find the old survey and procrastinated. So probably after this meeting, that'll be something.
Right, I'll be looking for that too, so I'll
Cool.
send it to you. Or, so basically what we're gonna do is basically use the old survey and take only the questions on about the center from that, and then kind of update that question, or those questions. So we just need to find that old survey, that we had put out last year and go off of that. And then as far as other topics, I think, so we received some maps from Tony Galliani in terms of like indoor maps for some of the buildings that might be a template for what we do for other buildings. So I think we'll be discussing that more hopefully later once we finish those one. But yes, and then also increased number of automatic door openers on internal doors, especially restrooms. So with that, the cost is prohibitive is one of the reasons they provided. $2,000 apparently for one ADO. Also based on logistical reasons, so there's like,
$20,000 for one?
yeah, it didn't really make a whole lot of sense.
I can make one of those. I'm not even an engineer.
Well, they have to like do a lot of like rewiring, and they have to establish the electrical system, and they have to hook it up to the door itself, and they have to remodel some of like the architecture around it.
So $20,000
That's like the
for one,
average, that's like 15 to 20,000.
for one what?
Automatic
Locks
door
on the
opener.
door.
A single one?
Yeah, so if we want this door to be automatic, 20,000.
Are you serious?
But there's new technologies that they're looking into that like you can put on the door and it'll like help it open automatically. If you like touch it or if you like push an app or something like that, but that it you can take it off, so they're worried that like students are gonna steal the automatic door openers and like run away or something like that. So they're like trying to explore, is there cheaper alternatives?
So yeah, so that's just what they told us. So I think like the problem is we only had an hour, so there was not really much time to get deep into these issues and push for action. But I think this was definitely a good starting point in general. So we'll keep following up about this thing certainly. They also said that it's helpful to provide rationales for where ADOs are needed. For example, I think in the Sanford building, when they were installing one ADO recently, the solution had provided a rationale. This is closer to the bus stop, it's closer to the cafe, and so we needed an ADO at this particular entrance as opposed to one that may already have an ADO, because that's because people don't use the one that already has an ADO. So, I mean, that is quite onerous, but that's what they recommended. Signage, better signage and maps around campus, they didn't really have much to say about this. They just said, contact us if there's some issue with like things being blocked or like confusing or signs being obscured. And then let's see. So financial support for students being screened and tested for learning disabilities. Do you remember, Kevin, exactly what they said?
I think it's all like it was all like looped into that question of accommodations, and they said that that is something that they can research more and that they can talk to other departments with, but it's not necessarily their forte, and that they already have programs and they, right, like they were like, yeah, we have like insurance programs and blah 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 and blah 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 that actually provide the support and students need to be connected to it, and like we try to get the word out, but it doesn't really, like they just talk about it all as like we have accommodations and we try to share the word, but a lot of people don't know about it.
Yeah, that was basically what they said. Yeah.
So,
Sorry.
can you say that again? Just so what was the issue that you were asking about? And then what?
So the issue is that so there were a variety of issues that we discussed about.
So there, yeah, 9
access to
total
accommodations.
issues.
And the one particular issue is that in order to receive accommodations, you need to have documentation, which often involves testing, which is expensive. So one thing we discussed was financial support, and I think they basically said like they kind of talk more about how they try and get the word out about the services they provide, but again, it doesn't really reach people. So I think that's also tied into these some of the other issues down here, such as greater efficiency in processing accommodation requests. They were talking about how they can provide accommodations on a conditional basis until all the documentation is received and processed. Because some students I've talked to, they say that the accommodations process takes several months from the time that you start to the time that you receive accommodations. So the concern that we brought up was basically you can lose like up to 1 semester just in receiving accommodations. And so that is a concern, but they said that it was very limited. They talked about the conditional option. They said basically if anyone is experiencing any issues, they can definitely reach out to Lee herself. But they didn't really have, I don't think they really had any really concrete action items.
So if I can try to put everything in summary, So we came in with 9 demands and they asked that we could push on 2 or 3 as like our fortes. So our huge thing was the community space, which they were receptive to and they want data on. So we're gonna do that survey. The other thing that they really were encouraged about were the accessibility maps. And they have all these different documents that we were sent, and I just sent out to the DDA email that we can look through and see the different models for what are the maps, figure out which one looks best and try to centralize so that every map at Duke follows a really great accessibility map guideline. And then the third issue that we were really pushing were these automatic door openers and like how can we target the places that are in highest need for automatic door openers and how can we get those implemented. But so those are like kind of the main issues, and I cannot say how exciting it was to go to a meeting like this, where it's like, here's the action items, now let's get the information and move on it. Whether they actually do it, I don't know, but it's like, feels like it's like a project oriented, like we can actually make steps if we follow up and bring momentum, and we have the information, we say, hey, here's the information, let's go, let's go, let's go, I feel like it'll go somewhere. Or we have to push.
And I think the one final point is that they said that something was in the works regarding the languages building, either in terms of renovation or in terms of basically moving advanced classes and things away from that building. But they weren't able to say exactly what that was. So hopefully soon we'll be able to see some movement on that front.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's basically everything.
Well, and that kind of ties into accessibility mapping, right? So Manish, do you wanna?
Hi everyone, my name is Manish, I speak in this pronouns. Nice to meet you all, and I apologize for not being able to come to the beginning of this meeting. I have a meeting from 5 to 6 and then one from 6 to 7, so this is like right between both of them. But thank you all for having me. So I
Do you wanna say come to the middle just so like everyone can
Oh yeah,
hear
yeah.
you? I don't want you to feel like a.
Are you a fencer?
No, I just went on a run.
Oh no, I didn't see the sticker.
Where?
The 2020 sticker.
Oh, this was East Campus Council.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a saber.
Also, Kevin, maybe are you blocking the camera?
It's okay, I'm screen sharing the agenda, so.
Okay. I don't know.
Excuse me. Okay, so what I've recently started working on is like an indoor accessibility mapping project. So this has come out of a conversation that I had started with Jay last semester, and he had said that Duke already offers, like there's already programs that have like the accessible pathways for outside spaces on campus, but there isn't anything for indoors, and it's something that you all had talked about in the past. That's true. So I decided to start working on that. So what I've done so far is first, like I sent out an email blast, and also I think Duke Disability Alliance also shared the Google form for people who are interested. It also went out on the DSG form, and we got like 15 or 16 responses. So I created like a group meet with all of like the people who are interested. We did a one to meet, and then people that responded to that, which is like 9 people, we agreed to meet yesterday at 3 p.m. So we met yesterday. There were 4 people at the meeting, 3 people said that they couldn't come. So they had like in North Carolina, they were out of town for the weekend. But we started talking about the project and like what we hope to accomplish. And let me know if I'm going too fast. I have a very bad tendency to speak very quickly. So we had an hour-long conversation about what we hope to do. Like we set a timeline, what we want to accomplish. So I just wanted to share that with you all and also ask for advice. So first is we split into like 2 sub-teams. So there's like a policy implementation team and there's more like technology team. So myself, like I have very little, I almost have essentially no background in computer science or engineering. So thankfully there are people that have that background on this committee. So they said a lot of terms yesterday that I was very confused about. But like basically the premise is going to be trying to mark like accessible features of indoor spaces and then work on like some path tracing technology to figure out like the easiest way to get from one to another in like in an accessible manner. So what we're gonna do is in addition to that, that would probably be online somewhere. I also want to look into creating like tactile maps, and this would come out of a conversation I had with Professor Dan Allison, if you've heard of him. So he suggested creating those, and he said it's basically just like a 3-dimensional map of like a space on campus. So we chose to we had a conversation about this yesterday in terms of like easiness on our end, and also like the first big starting point we chose West Union. Just because first like West Union experiences a lot of traffic, so there are a lot of, especially when it's busy here, it's packed. And also West Union is like visited by members outside of the Duke community also. So like this is something that we could have like access to if need be. So I need to like I was wondering like what your thoughts were on like starting with West Union, and the project would be to work on this for West Union, establish like a model and then show it to administrators and see if that can be extended. Because we don't have the capacity to do the entire campus. But we do have the capacity to do some like important buildings. So if and everyone on the team expressed interest in continuing beyond just this semester, which makes me very happy. So, but we're gonna start with West Union. So I just need some like if you all have opinions on choosing West Union as a space versus like maybe another prominent area. We were thinking the Bryan Center. That's a little harder to do. Just because of how it's like inflow and like walking things right in center. But I mean again like that's also a very big space. So any thoughts on that?
Yeah, so when it comes to physical 3D maps of campus, this is something I messaged DP over this summer when I was traveling in Hong Kong, and all the major buildings had tactile maps.
Yeah.
Especially in Braille.
So I talked to, sorry to interrupt you,
Yeah.
but Professor Ellison, and I asked him like, I was like, would this be in Braille or not? And he said he's sure because a lot of people like don't study Braille anymore.
Exactly, yeah. So the thing is that Braille will be a lot easier to do.
Yeah.
And making the maps themselves is a piece of cake.
Yeah.
But actually making a STL file or a computer file based off of the building that's going to be the hard part. So in terms of practicality, Braille would be the best way, but if you want like a physical model of the building, I'm not sure how a 3D map would work other than Braille.
I was thinking more like of each floor of West
Of
Union.
each floor.
Yeah.
Okay,
instead of building an entire model.
That definitely makes it a lot easier. The floor plans we just need to access floor plans. And I've got coworkers at the Innovation Co-Lab that can definitely help with making prototyping.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, with 3D printing it. One of my plans was to cast aluminum in order to do it. So.
What's your name?
Trent.
I'm sorry?
Trent Lau.
I'll reach out to you.
Yeah, sure. I mean, this was something that I brought up at the beginning of this year, but it's good that you're bringing it back up again.
Yeah.
That's good. And you said that there are people on the team who expressed interest on continuing this beyond this semester.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I was wondering if like any of the freshmen or sophomores would be interested in also kind of joining in on this. You don't really need to like have computer science experience with it. Like, are you open to like having more?
Oh yes, please. Like anyone's interested, please feel free to join.
We're getting old. Like
we're
seniors next year. Like,
can't wait to retire.
Yeah. So it would be really nice to kind of see you guys like take the mantle, and I think this is a great way for you guys to start getting involved and get your hands wet or feet wet.
Yeah, I was gonna propose earlier that maybe we, for this semester, we sort of create task forces, and like maybe we do a task force on accessibility map, another on like the cultural center, another on the other issues that we're working on.
Yeah.
And then we just have people like collaborate with someone like Manish and like really head up that task force.
Yes.
Kevin, did you say that you sent the maps that Tony sent to everyone, or
To
just
Duke Disability Alliance.
just to exec? Okay.
Yeah.
He sent it an hour ago, right?
Yeah, to exec.
Could you put me on that as well? I don't think
Are you not on the exec list at all? Okay.
Yeah,
Sorry.
So continuing, I think going back to the mapping project, like the online model is probably, that's the hardest part. And that's something that I have the capacity to help with, so that's on engineering on it.
Yeah, that's why I said if you go to the co-lab, there's something called Design Hub where you can, especially with that professor that you were working with, having a professor gives you a lot more sway. Basically, you can pay one of our student staffers to do all of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So all you literally, my idea of the way to go to this is get the floor plans of the building, give them to one of the CAD model student staffers for CAD modeling, and it should be pretty straightforward if they're all geometric shapes, and you can just elevate them to a 1-to-1 ratio.
You're talking about the tactile map, or are you talking about,
Tactile map.
Okay.
So you're basically taking a 2-dimensional floor plan
Yeah.
and then raising different
Yeah.
parts of it in order to make it 3D.
Yeah, and like funding wise, like I can reach out to DSG discretionary fund, like that's foundation.
Yeah.
And then the other project, which is like accessible like pathways, that's going to be like online. Like their other team, they're meeting sometime this week to talk about like what kind of like math models they'll need to develop to get that going. So I'm leading that up to that. But yeah, one thing I do need though is like we're looking at like marking accessible features of indoor spaces, and I was just like wondering what that would constitute for people. So things that I have listed right now, like obviously like elevator locations, like wheelchair ramps, drinking fountains, accessible seating in like areas like theaters, for example, and then like information kiosks that are like accessible. Is there anything I'm missing or anything like?
One thing we talked about last.
Turn automatic door openers on campus.
Yeah. One thing we talked about last year too with Duke Rec was the lighting, and like how some lights can like, if they're like LED or something, that they can trigger some neurological responses for people that have.
So like highlighting like sensory friendly areas.
Yeah.
Yeah, and those are things that we were gonna mark on the minutes. But yeah, my action plan right now is to reach out to facilities management, or I'm gonna try facilities management to get like a blueprint of the West Union. Unless like anyone else would like to reach out to. And then that's like the thing that we need to do everything. like without the flip, then we can't move forward. So I need to get like a detail.
Yeah, I mean, you can measure everything with a measuring tape if you want, but I don't.
So I also just sent you a list of all the maps that in our meeting with Tony and Lee Fickling that they referred us to. Yeah, I just forwarded them to you. And they suggested to look at which of the maps we like the best, or we think are like the most like accessibility inclusive. And then you go forward with those and sort of like encourage those as the model.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Is it just me, or are these maps like really low resolution?
That'll be over one.
This was a problem.
I can barely read the writing on these things.
Which one are you opening?
Like Bryan Center and then Bryan Center. Like these are actually like publicly accessible websites too.
You're looking at the Campus Center website, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so that's what I looked at yesterday, and they're so small, and I tried to like click on them to see if it would zoom in. It doesn't. Also, it only marks like stairs, elevators, and restrooms. But yeah, like it's not.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, even the bathroom floor is better
Just
than
like
this.
click on the Campus Center.
How do they expect us to read?
It's the same with the Bryan Center too. It's the same.
That's really annoying. They have to.
If not SBA.
What was?
Oh, okay. Because when I sent to them on Wednesday, I said you can come to the.
Did can we just forward you
But then we
that?
had the entire board of trustees.
Oh, I guess the campus center is.
But yeah, that's all I had. So unless anyone has questions or
Just SDA, okay, fine.
Give what?
Give out, sorry, give out for.
They don't give, they know who to contact, they don't give so, I mean, you could reach out to definitely like email Tony Galliani. I can give you his email address later.
Okay.
But yeah, you can say I'll get back to you eventually, that's something. Yeah.
Thank you. And yeah, if anyone is interested in joining, please like let me know. You can tell me, or you can email me directly.
Do you guys have like a set meeting time?
Yeah, 3 p.m. on 3 p.m. on Saturdays. In the DSG court.
Can any of you guys make that?
Like when, sorry, can you repeat that?
Yeah, 3 p.m. on Saturdays in the DSG court. I think next week it should be the same time. The week after might change.
Where's DSG court?
Right. Yeah, in BC, in the floor, same floor as McDonald's.
Oh, the one on the far. Yeah, okay.
It's by the Black Student Union.
Do you mind if you, I'm probably gonna be late, but I'm gonna try because I'm gonna put it in practice, but if you can put that information on there, because my effort's not that
And
good.
I'll give you my phone number.
Fantastic.
I'm also gonna add this to the DDA Google Calendar, which I have made public and I'll share it with all of you guys on the listserv. Exec should already have access to it, but like everyone else should be able to get it. Okay, so.
How many people are on the listserv? Like, I would send stuff to the listserv, but I don't wanna send like more than 200 people when I only used to go to like 15.
Yeah, that's true. Every time I send an email to the whole DDA listserv, at least one person unsubscribes, so. If we started off at like 100, we're at like a solid 75 by now.
I mean, there's always happens.
Yeah, so.
I had subscribed for my own class this year.
Thank you, Manish, for all of your work, and I would really encourage and all especially the new members to, or first years, the youngins to take up on this, because
I guess that's so old.
I'm old. So just because I personally am very interested in this project, but I don't know how much time I could devote to it, so I definitely want to delegate tasks, and that kind of leads me to our next topic about just outreach updates and also the task forces, as Kevin was mentioning. So Maddie, do you want to talk about your?
Yeah, just real quick. I had a conversation with Reverend Bruce Puckett from Duke Chapel, and then we just by chance came up with the idea of the accessibility of the services at the chapel, and came up with the idea of having a group of just comfortable or interested students come just sit through one service just for the purpose of evaluating for inclusivity. So if anybody is interested in that, then you can email me. I can also send this out to the serve. Yeah, I'll make it available for people.
Yeah, is there a Facebook event for it, or is this kind of word of mouth, or is this a regular church service?
It's just I think we just want a few students who are aware of disability and accessibility and issues to come and critically evaluate this service just to for inclusivity.
Anybody interested in that? Just try to Someone, Kira, or Caroline?
Caroline. When do you want to
Yeah, we don't even have a
Okay.
set time yet.
Okay.
Yeah,
Then
it's
blanket, yes.
This is the first.
Yeah, so kind of tying into the task forces that Kevin was mentioning, I was also thinking it would be probably a better way to structure this semester and our meetings. It could just kind of be everybody work on their respective projects, and then the meetings can kind of be an update period, and we can just kind of go back and forth and talk about our different things. So given that, I just want to ask how much does how much does everyone use Google Calendar?
Excessively.
Okay, great.
Not at all, but I can learn if someone teaches me.
Yeah. So I was thinking of using that, and just it's public. I'll send it out in the recap email, and just all the meetings and all the events coming up. We'll be on there. So like the American Sign Language event is tomorrow, 6:30 p.m. in the CMA Research Room. So Maria, you are going, right?
Sorry.
The American Sign Language event.
Yeah, I'm going to that thing. I think I'm gonna be speaking on the panel for that. And then they wanted me to teach like basic signs to them, so I'll do that tomorrow.
Is it like open to the public?
Yeah, it's in Marketplace. If you go downstairs, it's in room 041.
Oh, it's in East Campus?
Yes.
I thought it was on the CM.
There's like two. I think there might be two events going on for ASL at the same time.
Okay.
Because I know in the last email you guys sent out something from 6 to 7, some ASL event. But there's also another one from 6:30 to 7:30 on East Campus where they're talking about just ASL and like kind of stuff that too.
Okay. Are you sure that it's like two events? Because these are at the exact same time then. One's in the Bryan Center, one's on like Marketplace or something.
Yeah, the guy that I was emailing told me, like I asked him what it was, he said on Monday, so tomorrow at 6:30 East Campus. Or at Marketplace.
And who's the one who told us?
This was like ASL Club in partnership with the NAACP.
Yeah, it's with the end of
Oh, okay, maybe then I just got the location wrong then. Can I see it on this one?
it said 6:30, so.
Yeah. And in terms of like, does getting people on this project, or does like keeping track of tasks, like how do you guys work best? Group chats or like timeline, or messenger, or group me, or text? Huh?
I never check my
Group me or Facebook Messenger, just anything group.
Okay.
Slack.
So do we want to try to create task force right now?
Yeah.
I think it'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
So is anybody really, maybe we should start by identifying what are the potential task force. So the accessibility maps, the cultural center, what other like main issues do we want to tackle this semester? Or that you guys see, like even if we haven't talked about it yet?
Yeah, last semester we were like dealing with the ASL campaign.
Yeah.
Do we like continue that?
Yeah.
Because we had like 200 responses to the survey. And it was all supporting ASL. Yeah. It was all supporting like ASL on campus. So we could like, I know it reached like DSG, you could take it like further from there.
Cool. So 3 task forces.
Don't forget the Max program, but we're still waiting to hear back on that.
Yeah, so I think that would kind of be like,
And that totally depends on what he wants us to help.
like collaborations and events. I think that should be like another task force altogether, because like I also really want to push for
That's Alexander's project.
Yeah.
For the to be involved more in the community.
So we want that as a separate, that's a whole project.
Yeah, like collaboration and events, because like Disability Pride Week is coming up in March. I really want to push for like the body management collaboration, because like Steph and I have just been talking a lot about it.
So this task force will be all of our collaborations. Yeah.
So the thing I want to mention with that is we basically had an event coordinator position last year. And like, so that's basically what we had last year, I think, right? Wouldn't you say, Kevin?
Well, we
So
technically still have that position.
Yeah, I guess the question on the table is like, do we do the structure we have with task forces on specific issues? Or do we dissolve the structure and just have task forces?
Sounds so dramatic.
Well, I mean, the latter is a lot more like egalitarian, we're all working together rather than like a weird hierarchy.
Well, I feel like the hierarchy didn't really do anything anyways, like in terms of like, people talking to who, we're all talking to each other in the first place, so in the end, I feel like the task forces are just
That
sounds kind of cool.
Also,
At the end of the
you have the
day,
word
I
force.
want people to feel accountable and feel some sort of ownership on each of these projects, because I think there's like, in the past, there has been a problem just like, not necessarily free riding, but just lack of communication and in turn like lack of involvement. So I just want to kind of like really capitalize on all of your guys' interests and really just want you like to feel motivated to be like involved in this club. So whatever like structure makes and like motivates or that or increases that, I guess, is what I would vote for.
See, I'm thinking that like something where people, it's like a very narrowly defined scope and it's also limited in duration. I think that's probably going to keep things very specific and keep people motivated.
Okay, so for now on, we have those 3 task forces, so the ASL, Cultural Center, and Accessibility Maps. And then we can potentially add a 4th depending on what this MAX program turns out to.
Yeah, I'm putting that down, possibly the MAX
Oh,
program.
I thought the 4th, I thought there was a 5th, DPUC, one just for collaboration.
Yeah, I think like
So 5.
Max program would fall under like events, like body banter and like business oriented women and like just the outreach we get from other groups kind of just like,
Falls under there.
yeah.
Okay, I see what you mean. I was sort of envisioning it as like a general exec thing.
Or like the other thing that I was thinking is, could we just have a task force for each event and maybe have some overlap between each task force, like people could be on multiple. But then they would just do that one event and then disband.
Okay, that makes sense.
What does everybody else think?
Well, there's, yeah, and then some of them will definitely be longer term, like the one advocating for the culture center is definitely not gonna be
That's
one that's gonna dissolve
Yeah.
right after something's over, because something's not gonna be.
I think that's a good idea, hitting one at a time, because if you if you're juggling too many things at once, you just gotta move on.
I also think I just like, but I feel like for collaboration events, like, it would be helpful to specifically for that one, have it be like one thing that you're super focused on, just because people's like availability may be shifting, or like time that you have available to devote to something, or like connections that you have with one certain group that we're trying to coordinate with, like, it may be more helpful, like, have all of your time to go together and then like, maybe take one event off and have all your time.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay, so who would wanna sign up for
I can go through the list.
accessibility maps one?
So this will be with the niche.
It seems to me I've talked the most about that one.
Sweet, you wanna join?
Yeah, probably. Also interested in the MAX program, as I said last meeting, but that entirely depends on what he wants us to do.
Yeah, so maybe let's hold off on that until he comes to speak with us on February 17th.
Could I also hop on maps?
What's your last name, Caroline?
To CRKASSI.
Are you on the list?
Anybody else?
Yeah, I'll go to the meeting. I'm trying to learn more about the project, but I definitely can see what's being interested in. It's Michaela.
Okay, sorry.
That's fantastic, because I just don't know how to melt plastic, and that's about it.
You spell your
MIKAYL.
And I can help however possible on that.
Yeah, I think I can also, if we're talking about the meeting next Saturday, I can also come into attending just the next one at least. And go and provide my expertise.
Yeah.
Michaela, what's your last name?
People,
Curtis.
put it on your calendar right now.
Is it 2 or 3?
Is it 3 to, I'm assuming 3 to 4.
And then, how about for the cultural center? So I'll definitely be a part of that.
I'd be interested in getting involved in that.
Sweet.
We've been talking about this for so long, so maybe.
Sweet, so it looks like you also want to.
So there's Kevin. Me. Where did you say? What's your last name? Okay.
Anybody else?
And what's your last name?
Prakash, P as in Peter, R A K A S H.
And then ASL?
Also, I apologize that I keep asking you.
We haven't really gotten to meet everyone yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, or if you guys see us walking around campus, feel free to say hi. I annoy her all the time.
So then the ASL crew? Cool, anybody else?
I can attend some of the meetings because I'm already a little bit informed. So
So do you know when ASL Club meets?
Tuesdays from 6 to 7.
Tuesdays.
Tuesdays 6 to 7 in the classroom building, 137.
Tuesdays, 6 to, I can't do it that day.
They this semester they had like a really small class, so they could only take in some people. But then they're gonna like next semester they'll start like a second session as well, so more people can join next semester.
Classroom building, room 137.
And in my experience of task force, it's helpful to have like a chair or like a leader that like sends out an email that says like, here's all the info, here's where we're meeting, here's like the details that we need to be all on the same page about. I don't know what y'all think about having like someone designated as like doing that, like coordination amongst the task force.
I think that's a great idea. Well, I feel like Simran's been very involved in the ASL, so I feel like you probably would be the ideal coordinator. Chris?
What about you, Max? Anyone want to take the reins on this?
So he works for the student government.
Okay.
So I think it'd be cool to have someone from DDA that's like the head of it from our side of things that collaborates closely with him.
I could.
Cool. And I can give you all the info that we have. Yeah. Help you out.
For the cultural center, so it's Kevin, me, Aaron, Abby.
I'm happy to take the lead, but I'm also happy to have someone else take the lead, and I can like help in the first week or two so that they are up to par.
We could change as we go as well, so, I mean, it's not a big deal, but that is needed, I suppose.
Yeah.
We should all be ready to take some responsibility.
Yeah. Okay.
So, I'll put you.
So I'll start. Okay.
Start this.
And then my hope is I'll probably send the people on the cultural committee one like an email of like, here's all the things to date, here's the resources we've been pulling from, here's the next meeting, here's what we should talk about, hopefully by the end of the week.
We should also talk about the smaller events that we want people to get involved in, like collaborating with Steph for Body Banter. Whenever Max comes, or sorry, not Max, Alexander comes around, we should definitely have people continuously collaborating with him. If, well, however that turns out, I'm not sure, but, and then, what else is there?
The other outreach we've gotten was mostly just like, hey, can you help spread the word about our organization, like Writers Collective, Business Oriented Women. The one girl is gonna come and talk to us about it in like the last 5 minutes of the meeting. But yeah, I will continue to work with stuff on the Body Banter thing. I think we decided to table it until Disability Pride Week and actually plan to host it then. So I think that's what we decided on our first meeting, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so that will come up later, but yes, I'm going to abstain from heading any task force and instead pick all of your brains and be like, hey, give me an update, so
There you go.
yeah, so
Oh,
and
and
just make sure the
Oh
word
yeah,
is
we should
floating
get
on.
everyone's contact information. if we don't already.
that too. And Dr. Q, Marion,
Her TED Talk is on February 23rd
23rd.
and she has the symposium coming up, so
in April.
I'm not saying we should organize a whole group for this, but
Yeah, keep it in the back of our mind.
she's looking for people who wanna be on a panel, I think, for the symposium. Symposium's in April, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, sorry, I thought we should just remind everybody.
Yeah,
Or
no, thank
tell
you.
the people who to come.
No, I've talked to Dr. Q about it and she said that like we could possibly like tap into like Duke funding to send people. So that might be something interesting to look into. Like just like, I know they're not accepting any more presenters, but if we would like want to go as a group, or at least a couple of people, I think would be cool.
Well, then this kind of puts a damper on things in terms of exec elections? Because I think we just kind of rehauled our entire.
Well, I was thinking the roles of exec are still pretty important. I mean, obviously, you just said you're not joining any task force, but you need to coordinate everybody. I mean, again, these meetings, obviously. And I think, Trent, obviously we need Trent. That's just that. And then
The rest of us are fungible.
But I think some exec roles should kind of overlay this. And I mean, we might need to redefine some exec roles, but this should definitely.
Because I think, well, you're right, because the task forces do kind of tie into like the exec roles that we have, like advocacy chair, kind of ties into the cultural center, like really advocating for a space for disability on campus. And accessibility chair ties into mapping. So I think it would, and publicity chair, kind of like promoting events, event coordination. So, you're right, I think we should follow through on it. And so we are going to hold exec elections. An application form will be sent out in this week's recap email. And it's really just like, if you're interested, the main thing will just be like, which position you're interested in, why you're interested in it, and like your ability to commit to this club, because if you're going to take on an exec role, like there will be a greater expectation of fulfilling responsibilities. Of course, we've already delegated like the task people to the task forces, but I would imagine that if you're an exec, you will like kind of take the lead on those task forces, or not, but just like kind of be at least very active or involved. And we're thinking, so please fill that out once it's out, and then elections will be like around February 11th through 14th, and we'll welcome our new exec members on February 17th, which is 2 weeks from today. Does that sound good to everyone? Okay, that's good. And now we have Eleanor, or Ella from Business Oriented Women.
Hi guys, thanks so much for having me right now. So I reached out to, I think through the kid groups webpage, I didn't really know who the exact contact would be, but so Bo, we're really trying, this sort of women, we're really trying to increase our diversity and inclusion within the organization, just because I think right now we're noticing it's a pretty homogeneous group, and we just want to have like more opportunities for diversity and inclusion. And I reached out at the beginning of the semester, during which Belle was having our spring recruitment cycle. As of 2 days ago, we were like officially like starting us, but we really do want to like reach out to a bunch of organizations on campus that I feel like Belle doesn't really reach towards, to just like advertise the group, because I personally am involved, and I think Belle has a really fantastic community and opportunities. It is slightly of a selective process, because we have certain, firms that come specifically to do Bo, and we maintain attendance requirements, which is why we can't accept every single person who applies to Bo. But I do really want to encourage like other organizations who might have any women in like with slight interest in business to apply. Just because I don't feel like we've necessarily advertised as to like every single group, but within our organization, we're also trying to increase inclusion efforts and having more talks about it. So it's something that we're really passionate about and spearheading. So next semester, I don't know if any of you women or any incoming women who are within DDA would be interested in applying. We have specific info sessions about diversity and inclusion and how to navigate the application process, dedicate towards that, and just really want to come into like your organizations and kind of talk about it. If you guys have any questions, we hold a bunch of events, one of which is the Spring Business Conference, which is still open to like everyone, not just like Duke students, men and women. We have the CMO, the Chief Marketing Officer of Cisco, coming in, and a huge panel of really incredible women who are in technology. And it's a nice event, it's catered, and it's a really great opportunity to hear from these like really successful professionals who are flying into Duke to talk to us. So that's an open event, and I believe I shared with you the information on it if you guys would be interested in attending and kind of getting a taste of what Bo does on for like their events, the type of people they bring in, as well as like sort of exclusive networking events with like technology, marketing, consulting, and finance firms, as well as diversified industries. So if there are any women who are interested, we really just want to reach out. We have applications open every single semester and always encourage people, even if they don't get into, reapply. But hopefully we'll stay in contact and keep you guys updated with what's going on, and if any women are interested in attending or want to apply, there's also like specific programming for just individuals who I don't think we usually reach. But that's my spiel. If you guys have any questions for me.
Thank you. Sorry, it was my bad because Alan like reached out in like due time, and I just never got to like telling everyone about the recruitment. But yes, please, like we will definitely stay in touch. I'll spread the word about the conference and.
Yeah. Would you be this? I mean, I guess I heard a little about you having a new exec, but like who the next person would be to keep in contact like next year or something.
We don't know that yet.
Okay, that's totally fine.
Yeah.
But, thanks
For
so much
this
for.
semester, at least it's me.
Okay.
And I think we could probably send out to our general body too, beyond just this room.
Okay, awesome. Well, thanks so much, guys. Do you have any other questions for me? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me tonight.
We sped through our agenda today.
Yeah.
I'm surprised.
Good meeting.
Okay, ask can I join? I already asked if I could join kind of, and said no.
You really? Did you actually?
I talked to the Nationals girl about it too.
Okay.
Well, it's a good meeting, guys. So hopefully have a lot of deliverables in the future.
So if you're on the cultural center and you want to add your number to create a group chat, let's do it.
Yeah, actually that's a good idea. How about every task force just
Can we have all the organizers give their contact info, and then we can send out the organizers emails, the coordinators, whatever we want to call them. I'm sorry, didn't know. But we can send out the email contact info for coordinators, and whoever's interested will contact the coordinators for the task forces.
Yeah.
With their contact info.
And
If
then we
miss
can
it.
make like a group chat of just the coordinators with me, just so it's like we're not bombarding everyone's inboxes like 24/7.
Making moves. Isn't this so exciting?
Can we
This
agree
is
on
where
a
advocacy works.
platform though? Like Messenger group, me what? Let's just stay consistent.
I like Messenger,
I
but I'm
personally
happy
like
with
Messenger just because I can tell who left me on red.
Oh, yikes.
So I can come out, it's more easy for me to come after you, but if you guys prefer group me, that's okay too.
I vote for Messenger because I feel like a lot of people don't look at GroupMe, which is
Yeah.
really odd. I don't know why. It's just
I think it's because there's so many.
Yeah.
there's so many GroupMes and Messengers. I mean,
WhatsApp
if you're on
is another
Facebook,
one.
you'll see it.
Me and my friends use Telegram,
What's Telegram?
another messaging platform. It's
Sorry.
really good, it's really, really good. Michaela.
Yeah, you're on this mess.
How do we use it? Let's make our own Messenger. Okay.
There's also Slack.
Well, it doesn't have to be,
Slack as well.
like every group does not have to have their own, like on the same platform.
Yeah.
That's
So like, one group can do GroupMe, another group can do Messenger, as long as the collective like organizers with you
No.
does your.
Here, I'm gonna take an executive decision to revive the Slack, and that's what we're
Oh.
doing.
You're so lucky.
God.
Because I just downloaded Slack on my phone.
No.
I didn't even realize that.
Can you have,
Nobody-
wait, can
I'm
you have
creating
two
I'm
workspaces
doing a
at the
group
same
chat
time on
with
Slack
Cultural Center.
and get notifications from both?
Yeah,
Okay.
get it on your phone.
I
Get
know,
Slack
I'm
on your
just-
phone.
yeah.
I'm doing a group chat for Cultural Center on Facebook.
Do you have our contact?
On Facebook.
Wait, all of us. Wait,
Are we friends? Yes.
We are friends. For I don't know if you're friends.
I don't have Facebook, but I can.
Oh, that's also fun.
Totally fine. We can do GroupMe.
I'm good with this.
We can also
Are
do
we
Slack.
Are we really doing Slack?
Yes, we're.
Sorry, this is like a discussion. I feel like this is a discussion for
Are you doing
another.
Slack or GroupMe or Messenger?
Okay, raise your hand if you want Slack. GroupMe. Alright, group meet is, everybody's doing group meets.
Great.
Alright, I have Maddie and Simon, I have you girls, I don't have Fernanda or Simran. Sorry if I said names wrong, I don't know everybody.
Sorry, I should prefer name on there.
The only advantage.
DT has invited you to join Slack, rejected.
Oh, wow.
Like the only advantage of Slack is you can make your own emojis and that's about it.
Hey, it's pretty organized. It's been very helpful for tenting.
What? We use Telegram for tenting.
Telegram. Okay, so
Here, I'm gonna get all the organizers' contact info.
So Simran, can you offer your info?
Just type in your email, anything that you think is relevant, anything that's relevant, besides your Instagram profile, I'm not gonna plug that for you. Yeah. Oh, wow.
It's just my number, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
I can add you as a contact once you have your number. Cool. And then and do you go by Fern?
Whichever one's fine.
Okay.
It is
I have
fun,
Jay's
right?
number, I'm fine.
What?
I have your number, I don't need it.
Wait, what am I being added to again?
No, you're in accessibility maps, dude.
Oh, right. I thought I just committed to attend the next meeting.
I think you're technically in also cultural center.
I mean, you could just add me.
I'm gonna add you.
I'm just telling you right now that the amount of people do is very little.
That's fine, as long as you show up to the key meeting.
Can we do
Because
that?
unfortunately, that's how it works.
me
Maps people, I do prefer for you to direct message me, because email gets lost with a lot of shit, so. And I'm also technologically inept, so
Don't you work at Cola?
yes.
Under or right
Are
there?
we making separate like group meetings for each task force?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait a second, so yes, I did work at the co-lab, but I'm taking this semester off so I can focus more on DBA.
Aw, thanks.
Well, honestly, I'm gonna
Oh,
see if I can pick up what's happening right now.
Who?
There, it just happened.
Fuck off, Brady. You know what, I don't care about football.
I don't wanna keep you guys for too much longer, just create these group chats.
Nope.
Do your
Okay, accidentally created a group.
Are you making it?
Yeah, so.
and then the leaders, so Kevin, Caroline, and Simran.
Email and number.
Do you guys have cause I wanna be able to keep in contact with you.
Yeah.
So
Whatever platform you want, it's fine. I have Facebook.
does everyone have Facebook?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll just like keep that separate then.
Don't judge my picture.
There's no dancing face.
DPD, the recap email, can we include the coordinator's contact info that I just
Drake,
had?
you have the phone?
Can you just, what I do for the
Yes,
happy email is just
you
kinda copy
can
paste
do
the
911.
notes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
2
You want me to,
6,000.
yeah, so if you just bold it or something.
And what's your last name, sorry?
Pandy, P-A-N-D-E.
Ah, okay, sorry.
box?
Oh, I can help with all the manufacturing.
Okay.
Floor plans
See,
and
that's
stuff.
exactly where all
But
of
when it comes to collaboration with multiple groups, I can't do that.
Is everyone added to the drive? Can we add people?
I think we limited that to.
Isn't that link sharing though? For viewing at least?
We can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think the whole drive, the access to the whole drive is only for exec.
Well, probably better if we can
Just
like.
learn how to do all
I missed the day.
Why don't we just-
People, just so like if there are like documents that are made.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna put all the relevant links. The cultural center.
Okay. For editing or viewing? Or, well, I guess it doesn't really matter.
We need a funny like picture for the. Oh, I know.
Oh.
There's a trap remix to that song.
I know, it's so fucking good.
Why is there a trap? Alright, I gotta go, guys.
Have fun, be safe, make a decision.
Thank you.
That was fun to do.
Thanks everyone in the virtual world.